Hello everyone, I'm Adam Davis. I've done a fair bit of work with Gloucester Cathedral over the past 2 years. So last year I helped collaborate and curate the Ever Present exhibition. So that ran for the duration of Gloucester City's History Festival and really focused on the Gloucester Cathedral's place within the city as well as the people it's connected with. Throughout this year I've helped engage with the community through obviously the hardship of lockdown. So I've done 2 workbooks, one currently in the process of coming out just before Christmas, a little Christmas activity which will hopefully be really, really great. Also one sort of drawing essentials, a little bit more in depth, that one, to help with the educational curriculum for Key Stage 3 and 4. Also ran an Instagram campaign which looks to engage wider community as well as the city community and use reference images of the cathedral to sort of keep that creativity going and create a bond through the digital medium. So today I am taking part of the digital Advent calendar and I have an activity I'll be looking to share with you all and hopefully you'll be able to partake in from home. Right, so today we are going to start the tonal work of the drawing here. So this is a rough outline I've done over the past few days. This is sort of a nice, easy bit, if you will, just to get a rough outline of it, just to know where to start with tone. And today, we'll be going straight into the tone and see how I work to create a sense of perspective and depth within an image. So, in terms of creating depth, I've used what probably isn't the exact technical term, but I just called it the scribble. So it's a nice, easy, quite quick and efficient way of creating tone in large areas, as well as being able to create smaller, more intricate, depending on the size of the pen. So at the moment I'm using a 0.05 millimeter nib, millimeter. So a relatively small one, but still quite a nice size to get a nice part of depth created. It is a bit loose, so you won't get the exact representation you will with sort of the much more long-winded pencil work or line work. But for this one, it's much more, it's more fun. So this is really good for sort of quick experimental drawings as well. If you're sort of drawing on site rather than drawing from home from a reference image. I mean, this one is obviously a reference image, but if you don't have the time but really want to sort of get a rough idea of the lights and shape, really good way of sort of experimenting with that prior to doing anything more technical, whether it's with paint or pencil or still using pen. With Windows, with this technique, it's always easier to sort of use that as an opportunity to really highlight the scribbles by using the Windows as just sort of a blacked out area. Obviously if blacked out like they are with the cathedral in this image. So a thicker pen will just cover the space quicker and also create a darker tone. So it's always worth having a quick go over of that, leaving a little space for the edging of the window panes. So also with an image this detailed in this large, or rather large scale, it's also important to sort of pick and choose which details are important. Really, really easy to get bogged down in finer details, whether it's gargoyles in this case that I've missed out, or sort of real detailed edging around the windows. Something this small can be incredibly hard to get the detail, and putting too much emphasis on that can sort of affect really sort of the presence of the drawing itself, as well as whatever subject is being depicted. So it's a really good idea to sort of get the basic shape and try and use tone as a way to highlight certain areas of interest rather than detail. Especially whilst using pen, I've always found looking for really, really detailed depictions of something on a smaller scale, pencil's usually slightly better. Obviously some people might say otherwise, but I've always gone for pencil for more detailed drawings, but for sort of textured and tonal work, I always say pen's much better. It's quite an efficient way of drawing as well. As I said, if it's experimental or drawing on site, absolutely perfect for it.
Really good for any sort of illustrative work too. So a lot of my freelance practice technique that I go to best is this one. Works really well with watercolours to add a special colour to it, as well as ink wash. Always cases where if you're doing something like that, anything multimedia of colour, make sure the pen is water resistant when dry, or you'll have a bit of a nightmare cleaning it and it will get very, very brown and murky, which is not a good look. So with this technique of scribbling, it's very good for architectural drawings in particular. So you'll get flecks of white, flecks of sort of grey tones through the layers of the scribbles, which will give that sort of rough texture of stone. So especially for the sort of Gothic buildings along these sort of lines, absolutely fantastic technique to use. So hinting at the brickwork rather than depicting every single last brick, which, as well as being a very, very long thing to do, can sometimes sort of give a strange sort of atmosphere to the image, really, if there's too much emphasis on each detail. Yeah, as I said, a really quick, efficient way. Usually something like this, if you're trying to do representational drawing with pen, charcoal, whatever drawing medium it may be, could take a fair while. But again, with this technique, you can get that build-up of tone and depth really, really quickly, really efficiently, and gives that really rough textured technique, really illustrative, but sort of has that character to it that Gothic buildings and architecture in general sort of deserve, really, in the pictorial representation. So yeah, that's the beginning of it.